Good morning and welcome to our, the 21st? Is it the 21st? Yeah, the 21st annual exhibit of hydrogen and fuel cells and battery technologies here in the Hanover Fair. We are going to be discussing some of the most important advancements here. Everyone's asking themselves, how are we going to market this technology? Well, we have some very interesting ideas about that topic. I'll be talking with Alexander Dauensteiner, who is from the Initiative Brennstoffzelle, which is the hydrogen fuel cell initiative. So please welcome with me Alexander Dauensteiner.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Alex. So, introductions. The Brennstoffzelle Initiative. Where are you located? How did it start?
Yeah, we have indeed a long history until now. We already started the first, let's say, small group of manufacturers and utilities, I think more than 10 years ago now. And we are located in Germany. We have a very concentration on the German market as one of the leading, especially for the micro CHP field, leading markets. Mm-hmm. But we have also, in the meantime, an Italian company as a member since this year. So we are really expanding our group. But the location, more or less, is now in Oldenburg because this is the lead at the moment at EWE. So one of the members have already take over the lead from a financial issue and steering the complete group. Mm-hmm. So the location, when you have the address, you are located in Oldenburg. But as I said, we are a completely Germany-covered industry group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In terms of location, people do talk though about certain local synergies. Are there local focuses that develop due to the fact that some manufacturers are close by, or some energy providers are close by, or other technologies, universities? Is there anything synergetic about the locations?
Yeah. Yeah, as you already mentioned that we have a lot of manufacturers and utilities in the German Initiative Fuel Cell. So we have indeed a very close relationship to the local, let's say, field of utilities, for example. So they have their distribution areas in Germany where they are working. Mm-hmm. We have manufacturers, I would say, all over Germany. In Hessia, in Baden-Württemberg, we are located as Weiland in North Rhine-Westphalia. So there's a lot of distribution, and it's also important to have, during the development of the products, a very close link to the customer requirements. And this is given from the one hand due to the fact that the customers are very much, let's say, well-known brands for Viessmann, Weiland, and the other members, for example. But also the utilities from their point of view and their sales structures and sales fields, they have a very close link to the customers. Also for new business models as contracting for micro CHP fuel cells, for example. So this is a very good opportunity for the complete group. So the synergies are really given. And the third thing you mentioned already is that we have also a close link to a research and innovation organization, universities, Fraunhofer institutes all over Germany, because there's still a sum of areas which we need, let's say, further development for the second, third stack generation, for example, in large volumes then in the next period of time.
Now, when people walk around here, they often realize with a shock that there's actually many aspects to the fuel cell and hydrogen industry. Do you have any particular focus where you like to say, this is where we're making an important contribution right now? Is it a mobile? Is it a stationary? Is it storage? What do you do best?
I think coming from the impression all of the group exhibition at the moment, I think it's my 13th fair this year. My impression is that we are becoming more and more closer to really products. The most important progress I see in the stationary field is we are already competitive with the operational cost. So if a customer is now buying such a system, he really benefits from massive cost savings a year, reducing the energy costs over the year. We will certainly talk about the challenges we have at the moment during the speech, but with regards to the stationary application, we really have achieved our targets. Mm-hmm. The Initiative Fuel Cells, for example, implemented in the National Innovation Program for Hydrogen and Fuel Cells in Germany, have committed already in 2008 that we will achieve about 800 systems in Germany until 2015. What we have achieved are 1,000 systems. So we have even overfulfilled our targets. And this is a positive signal because there is already a close link between the industry, like the German Initiative Fuel Cell, and the policy, which because we are really need to work together in order to get the technology ready for market to be competitive in the next period of time. And therefore, it's a public-private partnership where both have to deliver, and I think we have delivered that what we have promised, and that's, I think, with regards to your question, one of the most let's say, significant progress we have delivered and we have achieved in the last period of time.
You mentioned that you've been here for 13 years. That's exactly the amount of time I've been here once a year as a moderator. And for me, this is the first conversation where someone has mentioned targets that they actually publicized years ago, 2008, and they've surpassed them. We've been talking about when the mobile car is going to be on the market, and all of the information that I was given years ago is continually updated a little later, a little later. Places a sort of interesting rhetorical focus on the next question. Why is it that stationary applications are so viable right now? I mean, you're talking about a product that basically, as of today, you can install into a homeowner's home, and it becomes a financial good investment. This is not, be nice to the environment and spend, buy the expensive suit. This is simply dollars and cents. It works. So what makes it work?
I think it's really benefit from a long-term and very intensive cooperation between industry and research, for example, and policy, because I very well can remember to the first steps into CALUX, the big German field trial program, where we have started already in 2006 to investigate chances for a large-scale demonstration in Germany with 500 systems in the field. We have the 500 at the moment. And there are players already in the field of micro CHP fuel cells which do this job and this, let's say, roadmap towards the market introductions more than 10 years now. So we have EnBW as a German utility, EWE as a very engaged company. We have the others seeing on the field. We have different companies in the manufacturer's line. So this is really a close relationship over more than 10 years now. And this gives commitment, this gives a perspective, this gives, let's say, a critical mass as well for the industry to develop this long-term path toward a market introduction. So, and the most important thing I see is that both the utilities and the manufacturers see a real business case. We are companies, we need to earn money in the future as well, and underlining that with concrete figures that underlines a positive business plan in the future, creates new products for the manufacturers in particular, to be competitive in the next period of time with new products in the German Energiewende, because we are in a strong competition with other new products like heat pumps and the others we have in the portfolio as a manufacturer. So, and this strong commitments on the one hand and the strong belief that there is a real attractive business case for the companies, but also for the end customers, because we need to sell the products at the end. I think this has succeeded also with the status we have achieved today.
We can put this in very simple terms, actually, and I find this very important because often people don't realize. If I had a typical German audience in front of me and I asked the question, how many people use natural gas in their apartment or their house to heat? It's going to be well over 80%, I believe, statistically.
That's a lot, yeah.
So what we're talking about is 80% of the homes in Germany use natural gas. Now, this is not going to change overnight, of course. And the fuel cell industry is often misinterpreted as the geek alternative. It only costs billions, but we'll do it tomorrow. And it never works that way. You have a different sales pitch here. So let's address this question. You have 80% of this population here in front of you. They all use natural gas. Tell them why they would be better off long-term installing, even as of today, a stationary fuel cell which uses natural gas in their apartment, even better in their single-family dwelling. What's the benefit?
I think the most important benefit for the customers is saving energy costs. Because with the fuel cell, and this confirms also the running demonstration projects in Kalux, for example, in Germany, where we have installed 500 units. We have the big one on a European level with the Innerfield project, and we have concrete measures. So a typical 1 and 2 single-family home saves up to €1,000 a year of energy costs in Germany. This is a German scenario. And given that fact, I think this makes very clear that this is, from an economic point of view, a very attractive product. Apart from the fact that if you install a fuel cell in the home, you can contribute significantly in reduction of CO2 emissions and reduction of primary energy. So this is, in addition, a benefit from, let's say, we all benefit from. But the most important driver for the market is really to reduce the energy costs, to make your electricity in your home. And as I said, and this is a typical 1 and 2 family home, 700 up to even €1,000 a year energy saving cost. This is, I think, a strong argument.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Of course, we are on a platform here where people are interested in green energy. That often has to be defined as reducing CO2 emissions because pure forms of energy are rare right now, and we do have to rely on natural gas for the near future at least. So on the basis of that problem, reducing CO2 emissions, how do the fuel cells help if they're using natural gas as their source of energy? How do they still help to reduce CO2 emissions? Does that get done purely through efficiency?
Yeah, I think it's a very important point. So first of all, a typical German approach is also, sometimes it's my impression, to have the final solution. Yeah. The final solution is something we will never get. It's a long-term vision where we can go to, but we need to think in bridge technologies, in bridge steps. What natural gas-based micro-CHP fuel cells can definitely contribute is to decrease CO2 emissions already today, even based on natural gas, by at least 30%. 30% is over-fulfilling the CO2 targets of the Commission. Though the European Union is really challenging that. We have our own, let's say in Germany, our own CO2 reduction targets. And if a customer now is switching from the old heating system to a new one, he has completely fulfilled that. That's the one thing. The second thing is thinking in this energy scenario of renewables, which will increase in the period of time, as well in Germany, but also in other countries. It's still beginning. So, and I like it because this is the only chance for a long-term perspective as the vision to build more and more on renewables. But I think we have on Wednesday, we have a presentation of the Roland Berger study from the joint undertaking fuel cells and hydrogen in Europe, where they already confirmed again that the natural gas-based micro-CHP fuel cells are very much, let's say, fitting into this energy scenario together with renewables. For example, in the winter time, where the fuel cell makes a lot of electricity, and the heat pump needs this electricity, but we have no or nearly no benefits from a solar electricity from the PV on the roof, for example. So this energy scenario, this energy spread of different technologies in the future is also a very good argument for the technology. So we have significant improvements in the CO2 reductions, and if there is a hydrogen economy in the future, I don't know when and if, but then we have the solid technology already prepared, because it's very easy to leave the reformer out of that and drive it by hydrogen directly. So this is a technology which is really safe also for the future.
And it's one of those interesting steps for me that I find so fascinating. People do underestimate that the pressures of fulfilling reductions of CO2 emissions can be alleviated simply through this existing application. And it's a question of how to market them. Yeah. On this note, we're sort of winding down to the end of our speech. I understand you have a very important meeting. But winding down, how do we move towards really market initiatives? What are your next steps? I mean, obviously, it's easy to illustrate statistically and scientifically how this is affordable and necessary, but how do we actually get the process going, and where does it lead us?
Yeah, so when we visit the booth, you can see all of the projects you can buy at the moment. Some of them are demonstration projects, some of them are really in the price list of the market. What is now important to get the last speed in the marathon race on track. So we need still the public-private partnership, the policy support from the German government to have an incentive program in place, because one of the major challenges at the moment is that the capex is still too high because it's a very new, brand new technology. I already said that it's from an operational cost point of view, it's already competitive. That's a good point with the 1,000 savings per year, for example. But we are in a good discussion with the policy. We can contribute to the energy targets of Germany and the European Union. And I think to keep that discussions on track, to move forward with that, to make in place a technology implementation program for end customer subsidy, digressing one over 10 years, for example. This is the next step, and then I think we are have very good opportunities, very good chances to make this as a final successful story.
It seems to me that's where it's going. Obviously, this is a conversation that we'll have to continue. I invite you all to go to the booth, the Initiative Brennstoffzelle. The booth is E51 in that direction, and they have all sorts of pamphlets and further information, and the conversation continues. Alexander Dauensteiner, it's been great to have you here. 13 years. Hope to see you back next year.
You will.
Okay. Thank you, Alex.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Ich darf jetzt die Sprache kurz wechseln, weil die nächste Präsentation wird auf Deutsch kommen, und zwar eine Pressekonferenz über die Markteinführung von Wasserstoff in Brennstoffzellen. Mein Kollege Ulrich Walter kommt auf die Bühne und wird mit einer Gruppe von Spezialisten aus dem Feld diskutieren. Wir freuen uns darauf. Die Getränke sind kostenlos und kommen gleich zum Tisch. Bleiben Sie hier.